All right. Are you at a standstill with your fundraising because you don't know what to believe? You don't know what to do with so much that you've heard, and you're just at a standstill with it, and you just almost want to give up on your nonprofit? This video is definitely for you. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Jill Smith. I am one half of the Smith Serves. I have this company with my husband. We are a mission-driven company that helps nonprofit founders, particularly nonprofit founders who are new to the nonprofit world, 5 years or less, or nonprofits that are generating less than 50,000 in annual revenue. And so we help nonprofit founders develop their nonprofits. We provide training, tools, all kind of these videos, and so yeah, our mission is to help nonprofits grow their nonprofits, um, sustain, because the people need you, as well as to impact. And so that's what we do. If you are watching this video on the YouTube channel, consider joining us over on Facebook in the Facebook group Founders of Nonprofits. And if you are watching this video in the Facebook group, Founders of Nonprofits, make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. All right, so let's talk about it. There are some myths out there concerning fundraising, and it's got y'all in the chokehold. It's got y'all so choked up that you're crying about needing money. But the fundraising that is out there that we're telling you to do, you're not doing it because there's so many misconceptions, there's so many myths. So there are five that, or six. I want to, I don't like to say that, 666. All right, I'm taking 3 6s out. All right, so there's some fundraising myths. I'm not going to say all of them, but these ones are ones that are jumping out. These ones are jumping out in the Facebook group, as well as on comments on this channel, and as well as just circulating around social media. So I want to definitely address these. So let me jump right in. Number one, the first myth about fundraising is that you cannot fundraise until you get your 501c3 tax exempt status. And that is a myth. That is not true. When you file your nonprofit with your state, you are indeed a nonprofit and you can go and raise funds. Now, you have to disclose if you do not have your 501c3 tax exempt status. You have to disclose that. And especially if it's pending, you have to disclose it. But you also you can get a fiscal sponsor. So there's ways around it. You can fundraise without your 501c3 tax exempt status as it's pending, but there's ways around it. You've got to, we always want to practice integrity and prudence, and we just always want to just be upfront. So if you do not have your tax exempt status and you're asking someone for a donation, make sure you disclose that your tax exempt status is either pending or that you do not have it, so that you can leave the decision up to them to donate. But again, I would highly recommend that you consider getting a fiscal sponsor. Which a fiscal sponsor, that's a whole nother video, but you want a fiscal sponsor who aligns with your mission and who has been they have to be up and running at least 5 years, and you can go under them and you can fundraise. They can receive the funds for you and then give the funds to you. So there's ways around it. So the myth is that you cannot fundraise, and that you can fundraise. So so don't let that hold you back, especially if you've filed and it's pending. Don't let that hold you back. The second myth is that getting grants, applying for grants, seeking grants, anything that have to do with grants is difficult and hard. That is such a myth. Let me tell you what's hard. Hard is not having your stuff together. That's what's hard. And so, well, let me just back this up. So for those who've been rocking with me for years, you know that I was a program manager for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for the Healthy Marriages, Healthy Families Initiative. I was also a grant proposal reviewer and panel facilitator for the department as well, for many programs, not just my program, but for many programs. And so I know what the government is looking for in grant funding. And I always say this: if you can get a government grant, you can get any type of grant, foundation grant, local government, state government. If you can get a federal government grant, you can get any grant. And so what's the difficult part about it is that the misconception is that it is difficult, but what's perceived to be difficult is the process of it, as applying, is seeking the grant and applying for it. Let me tell you what's the easy part: is to make sure that you have your data, your numbers. So let me just say, the government or any other grantor is not giving grants for ideas, dreams, visions. They're just not. And so before you go for any type of grant, you want to already have some best practices out there. You want to already have generated some outcomes. You already want to have some data. You already want to say, in 2024 and 2023, this is how many kids we serve. This is how many families got off of social services. This is how many youth graduated from high school. Whatever you're doing, you want to have some outcomes. You want to already have some data. Government grants are very data driven, and even foundation grants. They want to see that you're doing the work, and that your what you're doing is working. The other thing about grants is that you want to know the difference. Most grantors are not funding nonprofits. They're funding the programs of nonprofits. So when you are going after a grant, you want to make sure you go after the right grant that fits that program. And so it's just a matter. The myth is that it's hard, but it's not. It's really not. Once you are doing the work and you know what you are doing, and you know your program up and down, back and forth, then those grants will seem to pop out. Those grant opportunities will seem to pop out at you, and you'll know, I can go for this grant because we got everything that they're asking for. We got everything to qualify for this grant. So that's a myth. That is hard. At the end of the day, you just got to do the work. Number three myth is that only larger organizations receive large donations, or donors who give large amounts, or donors who are wealthy or got a lot of money. And that's simply not true. Let me tell you what gets it. When a person sees that you are passionate about your program, when they see that you are passionate and you are visible, and they can see you and they can see what you're doing, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at the donors that you'll get, the donations, that people see your heart and your passion for what you're doing. You will be surprised. And so don't think that, you've got to be this big, large corporate or a nonprofit organization to get large donations, because that is simply a myth. That is not true. Number four, this myth is that people on social media don't want you to ask them for money. People on social media don't want you to ask them for money, and they only want you to be social with them. That is a yes and a no. It's a myth. What people want to do, people on social media, yes, they want to be social, but they want to admire what you're doing. They want to. So on social media, there's a technique in how you ask you. It's not almost, this is what it is. It's attraction. And so when people see that you're doing well, when people see that you're accountable, when people see that you are impacting, they are more compelled to give, so that when you put out a plea, they will give. And so I always use the 20% rule, is that you want to do 80%, 80-20 rule, not the 20%, 80-20 rule. You want 80% good value added content, and then 20% asking, asking for something or asking for a donation. And so you don't want to just keep, you know, you know, can you give $1? Can you give $5? We got this campaign going on. You don't want to keep doing that without showing some type of progress or impact. And so the myth is that people don't want you to ask, and that's not necessarily true. They just want to see the work. They want to see that you're impacting. And so don't stop asking, but show more impact, show more of the outcomes of what you're doing with your program, show the happy times of your program, show the kids, the families being happy and all that great stuff. And so, of course, you've got to get permission from whoever you serve, but you get the point. Um, the fifth myth, and when I say this one hurt me so bad because so many of you all left money on the table. The fifth myth is that Giving Tuesday is only for large organizations and that the large organizations take up all the money on Giving Tuesday. So if you don't know what Giving Tuesday is, Giving Tuesday is an annual fundraising campaign that happens the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And so this past year, 2024, it happened on, I believe, December 3rd. And so it's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and it's a global campaign, and so many different nonprofits do their fundraising on that day, so many different creative ways. And so a lot of it, especially in a group, I've seen a lot of people say, you know what, it doesn't work for me because it seems like, only the larger nonprofits are dominating and they're the one. And let me tell you something. I've had so many people in the group, in the Facebook group, as well as clients who raised so much money this past Giving Tuesday. And so I had one client raise $10,000 in a couple of hours on Giving Tuesday. So it's a myth. So don't miss it this year. Do not miss it this year because you can hear some things and you can leave money on the table because you are hearing what's not working, what someone else is not willing to do. So that is a myth. And then the sixth myth, and I just want to throw this out there, it's not so much a fundraising myth, but it is a myth. The sixth myth is that nonprofits are broke. And when I say that, makes me cringe when I hear this because it's just such a lie. Nonprofits are not broke. Nonprofit staff, personnel, the executive director can get paid a nice competitive salary. And so it's all about fundraising. It's all about having multiple funding streams and funding revenue streams. And so you got to be creative. You've got to be willing to try what works for you. Individual donors is number one. Number one is the one most people don't want to do, but going after individual donors. As a matter of fact, if you have not gotten the what is it, the planner, the fundraising campaign planner that I have, I'll put the link at the bottom. Make sure you grab that because it outlines 5 individual donor fundraising campaigns that you should be doing every single year. And I give you step by step. I give you what to say. I give you the whole blueprint for each 5 of them. But yeah, so that is a myth that nonprofits are broke. And so if your nonprofit is broke and generating less than $50,000 annually, and you've been doing this thing for a while, and you just can't raise enough funds, you're not getting grants, you're not something is definitely is one of 2 problems. You either have a program problem, that your program is not effective, or you got a visibility problem. 9 times out of 10, it's probably a visibility problem. If you need help with that, just let me know. Click the link in the bottom. You can reach out to me. But these are myths. These are myths, and we need to get over these myths because people need you. People are hurting, and you definitely need money to run these programs effectively and to have the right reach and to get the technology you need and the tools and supplies and to hire the right staff to help run these programs and all that good stuff. And so don't let these myths stop you, because that's what the enemy does. The enemy is going to put out all kind of things. He's going to get your mind first. He's going to go to your mind, and he's going to try to, mess up your mind and say things are too hard, or it's out of your reach, or you're not eligible, or it's only for this type of nonprofit. And so don't fall for the okie doke. All right. So I hope this helps. And yeah, leave your comments below and let me know what you think. All right. See you on the next video. All right. Bye-bye.